Hi guys, this is Mike and I've got my blue shirt on, which means this will be a shootout between the hardware and the software version of the STRYMON CLOUDBURST. In case you don't know, the STRYMON CLOUDBURST is a pretty cool effect. I would say it's a reverb with a twist, right? And I had this pedal for quite some time now. It's definitely an acquired taste. I would not use it on, all parts of a song and on every song, right? But used sparingly, it's pretty cool. And then recently I saw that they came out with a software version of this thing, and I downloaded the demo and liked what I heard and decided to pay the full price for it. And so today we're going to compare these two, and we'll actually talk about the advantages and disadvantages of both versions, and maybe let's actually start with that, right? So one of the advantages of the hardware is definitely that it's hardware, right? You can physically touch it, you can fiddle around with the controls, you can play around. I would say it's actually a pretty inspiring pedal that might help you with your songwriting, right? And that's one of the great things about the pedal, that you can actually physically set it up the way you want, right? You can also, of course, put it on a pedal board and gig with it if you want to. A disadvantage of the hardware is definitely the price. At $279. It's almost 4 times as expensive as the software version. But then, of course, you have the resale factor with hardware, right? So if one day you should decide that you want to get rid of it, you should have no issues finding a buyer for your hardware. I'm not so sure actually if that is possible with software at all, with, the registration process that you have to go through and the end users agreement that you have to sign, right? I'm not so sure. I never bought software secondhand, so I'm not sure if that's actually possible. So that's definitely a point for the hardware. And let's actually quickly talk about the software, right? So the price is a pro. And of course, as usual on these plugins, what is really cool is that you can run multiple instances of the same plugin on different tracks, basically. So if you would like to have this plugin on every single track of your song, in theory, you could do that, right? The sky is the limit and your processing power, I guess. But, multiple instances is definitely a pro. And what I also like about plugins like this one is, of course, recall and automation, right? So every single variable on this plugin you can automate, which is really cool. And of course, recall, you can save your favorite presets, and maybe 1 year down the line, if you want to have the exact same sound, you can just open up your preset and you are good to go, right? Also, the plugin is built a little bit differently than the pedal, right? So for example, on the software, you have 2 dedicated buttons for freeze and infinite, which are also fully automatable, while on the pedal, you would actually need to connect an external switch, right? You would need to program the CLOUDBURST so that it knows that the switch is either for freeze or for infinite. You can't have both modes at the same time, right? But what I don't like about that is that, personally, I really like to use an expression pedal with the CLOUDBURST, and, in the heel position, it's set to 0% mix, right? So it's just my clean guitar. And in the toe position, it's 100% mix. And that works pretty nice to fade that effect in, right? So basically, if I have my expression pedal hooked up to the CLOUDBURST, I cannot use freeze or infinite. While on the software, of course, there is no such restriction, right? Also, on the CLOUDBURST hardware, we actually have a mini switch with 3 different settings for the ensemble effect, which is basically like this beautiful sounding synthesized wall of sound, if you will, right? And yeah, on the hardware, mini toggle switch with just 3 settings. One of those is off, so no ensemble effect. The other one is basically a light ensemble effect, and the third one is called Forte, which is a strong ensemble effect, right? On the software, we have no such restrictions, and we have a wheel or a dial, basically, which again is totally automatable. And yeah, another point for the software when we speak about these quality of life things, right? But of course, sound quality is paramount with every guitar pedal and effect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my looper pedal. I'm going to record, 2 or 3 chords on my guitar. Nothing too fancy. We really want to focus on the effect sound here. And yeah, then I'm going to send that signal through the hardware and then the software of the Cloudburst. And I will try my best to set both versions exactly the same. They are a little bit different, so I don't think that 100% accuracy is actually possible, but I will really try my best to, have them sound pretty similar. And yeah, personally, I'm pretty curious. I have not compared these two versions myself yet. And yeah, let's actually do that right now and enjoy the samples. Okay guys, welcome back. I hope you liked the samples and I hope you appreciated that I tried my best to, you know, set these two versions exactly the same, which was not so easy actually. And if you've made it this far in the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can always become a Patreon member or use one of the affiliated links down below to support the channel. That is always appreciated. And yeah, now the time has come to tell you my opinion on both of these versions. And actually, I like the hardware more. For some reason, I feel that the hardware sound is, you know, has more grit. It has more texture. I also feel that the guitar and the effect are in a better fusion, a better marriage, if that makes sense, right? They like stick together better, while the plugin sound feels like an add-on to the guitar sound. It doesn't feel as organic, which, to be completely honest, is quite surprising because the algorithm on both, you know, the software and the hardware should be exactly the same, and I guess it is. Maybe there are some other factors that come into play here, but yeah, all in all, I would say I'm pretty satisfied and glad that I bought the hardware. I'm definitely going to use the software. I feel it sounds good enough for most applications. I feel if I have one track that is in the foreground of the song and maybe, you know, like the star of the show, I feel in that instance, I would definitely grab the pedal for that, right? Just because it has more texture and it feels a little bit less plasticky than the software, I feel. Highly subjective, but that's my opinion. And yeah, actually let me know what you think and how you experience these two sounds. They are pretty close, but I also feel there are substantial differences. So let us know in the comment section what you felt and how you experienced those. And yeah, guys, that was basically it. Nice and short, I hope. And I hope you have a good one. See you next time. Bye. With two eyes.